Did you know that New York was once the worst designed city in America? Today, it's home to some of the most iconic skyscrapers in the world. But it wasn't this way when it was first built. In fact, the city's early architecture is considered by many to be some of the worst in the country. So how did New York go from being the worst designed city in America to having some of the most iconic skyscrapers in the world? Well, that's what I'll explain right now. New York was first settled by the Dutch in the 1620s and was originally called New Amsterdam. The settlement consisted of a single street with a few dozen houses. It wasn't until the 1800s that the city began to grow. As more and more people moved to New York, the city's population grew rapidly. By 1860, it was the most densely populated city in the world. And as the population grew, so did the need for housing. In the early days, most of the buildings in New York were made of wood. But as the city grew, it became clear that this was not a sustainable building material. In 1811, the first stone building was constructed in New York City. This was followed by several more stone buildings over the next few decades. But it wasn't until the 1850s that stone began to be used more widely. One of the first major stone buildings in New York was the A.T. Stewart Department Store, which was completed in 1855. It was the first building in the city to be made entirely of brownstone. Brownstone is a type of sandstone that is found in large quantities in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. It was brought to New York by boat and used to build many of the city's early skyscrapers. The use of steel in construction began in the 1870s. The first steel frame building in New York was the Home Insurance Building, which was completed in 1889. This was quickly followed by several other steel frame buildings, including the Woolworth Building and the Manhattan Life Insurance Building. These early skyscrapers were all relatively small, however, with most of them standing only a few stories tall. The first true skyscraper in New York was the Singer Building, which was completed in 1908. It was the first building in the city to be over 600 feet tall. Today, New York is home to some of the most iconic skyscrapers in the world. The Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, and Woolworth Building are just a few of the city's most famous skyscrapers. These buildings are not only iconic, but they're also some of the best examples of early skyscraper design. So that's how New York went from being the worst designed city in America to having some of the most iconic skyscrapers in the world. Thank you for watching Upspire, and I'll see you in the next video.